Well, that was a little bit of a marathon and a half, albeit slightly less so than the one from Resident Evil. But finally, we are here to tackle another slasher classic, Silent Night, Evil Night. Sorry, I mean Stranger in the House. Black Christmas.
We already did Krampus last year, Dweebs.
This is Halloween. What the heck?
Don't you
Yeah.
see? Don't you see?
Disrespecting the best holiday.
Well, don't you see, Shiri? It's a slasher movie, and slasher films are related to Halloween. And but don't forget, we have The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Funnily enough, this movie came out in Toronto in October and came out in the United States in December.
Well, Jover, there is a good reason for that.
Because it's a
Canadians
Canadian
don't
slasher
celebrate
film.
Christmas.
Yes, well done. Have a cookie. But anyway, yes, welcome to 1974's Black Christmas, directed and produced by the late Bob Clark and written by A. Roy Moore, who I don't know who that is, nor Bob Clark either. Although Bob Clark's resume is somewhat interesting. His first movie was back in 1966, a short film called The Emperor's New Clothes. And he went on to make films like Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, Moon Runners, Breaking Point, A Christmas Story from 1983,
And go on, dude.
and the first two Baby Genius movies.
Oh, fuck me.
Yes, yes. That being said, from what I understand, this movie is one of his better movies.
Oh, yeah.
It's something of
It is.
This movie is something of a sleeper hit on a budget of $68,000.
$686,000. I'm not sure if that means Canadian or American.
That begs the question, though, Jova.
Yes.
Is there anything in this movie as scary as the big baby animatronic from Baby Genius?
Well, fun fact, part of the reason that this movie has gotten praised is because of its influence on John Carpenter's Halloween, 1978. That's right, this movie apparently was one of the influence from one of the big slasher greats, so... yeah, it's also one of the earliest slasher films out there, and yet, I'm ashamed to say I probably only know about this movie because of the controversy of its 2019 remake, but we're not here to talk about that one.
We are going to start before the rather interesting, can you even call it a logo? It's just text on the screen.
The closest equivalent to it.
Yes, so get your fingers ready, or whatever you're using. In 3, 2, 1, click.
I saw this movie, I don't even remember when, way long ago, and while I didn't think it was bad, I wasn't super impressed by it. It's one of those cases of, Seinfeld is unfounded in a sense, but this premieres many tropes of the slasher genre, but because it's an early installment, they're still, experimenting with it, so there might not be as impressive as later movies. It's pretty much stands on its own, but this second viewing
Margot Kidder.
would be able to help me see if things have changed or not in the matter.
Pre-Lois Lane, obviously.
As I was saying, on a budget of $686,000, it made a box office of $1.3 million.
Okay, that's technically not really much in terms of double its budget.
Although, to be fair, that's only its box office in Canada. We don't know about anything anywhere
the
else.
international one.
Which is weird that we don't know what the international one is.
So here we are in American City.
Also,
AKA Toronto in disguise.
To mention quickly, while it is true that this was one of the pioneers of the slasher genre, mostly of the ones produced in North America territory. Countries like mine, Germany, and I think France also had already started dipping their toes for a while in that, even if it wasn't super popular.
We're sure this takes place in America?
It just says, I've been looking it up, it just says an American city.
Wow, it's not even that much specified.
Yeah, so
But
just...
there are no cats in America?
This isn't the US, we swear.
I mean,
Couldn't you
It
just
could
as
be-
easily have it be in Canada?
Yeah, like it could be, I guess, anywhere in the North American territories, you know. Although to be fair,
It's
since
in
there's
North
snow,
America.
it cannot be in stuff like Texas, I guess. I guess it narrows down. We're gonna need to, you know, do some movie theory searching and cross-referencing. If I understand correctly, because of the low budget and production and everything, the score is not that much present. You know, instead of relies on, you know, creating tension by having silent scenes. That's our introductory line.
That sounds like a Canadian accent, honey.
Hey.
Is this where the joke that Canadians just always leave their doors unlocked comes from? I don't
That's
know.
the thing, Shiroi. Okay, Beatles is Canadian on his own, and I know for a fact that he doesn't apparently have the concept of doors that you can lock from the inside, because he was surprised when a couple of movies actually showcased the gimmick, and he completely didn't understood the point of that. And like I'm pretty sure it's not that much widespread in
Maybe.
America.
Well, Teo, if South Park's Stick of Truth is anything to go by, apparently the people of South Park also don't believe in locking their doors. So, who knows?
Oh man, these haircuts. This is the 70s in full rage.
Actually, Teo, I just found out the reason.
Wow.
Think about it. As we all know, Canada is an 8-bit RPG.
Of course.
And in RPGs, the doors of the NPCs are always open so that the player can always go snooping and see what he can find. See?
You cracked the code.
But,
I cracked the code, ladies and gentlemen.
But Pedro, all those anime dubs I've been hearing with Canadian actors in them, how come the characters' lines aren't just beeps and boops?
Well, Dwibs, they have to keep up appearances somehow, don't they?
What with that?
Alright, is there, let me see if there's
I'm
anyone in
definitely
the cast that we can recognize.
I'm definitely already starting to see how this inspired Halloween, like, you know, the perspective shot from the killer and all that.
Okay,
Yeah.
one particular reason why American critics didn't really care much for this movie upon release, or at least from amongst the general public, apparently there were complaints on such a dark film like this being released around Christmas, because apparently there were no film adaptations of A Christmas Carol.
You have to
before
understand,
this.
Weebs, that this was the first half of the 70s. I still state on my everlasting point that overall, outside of very strong exception before their ends, the 70s were possibly, you know, one of the weakest decades of cinema. And until this point, roughly, there wasn't so much material in terms of having a horror story set on Christmas. You know, that wasn't maybe in public culture, like that wasn't a more in tongue-in-cheek, Christmas Carol. You know, so something of a serial killer targeting people in a gruesome fashion around a festivity was not something that people would thought they wanted to see on the big screen. You know, in a more realistic, detailed way. You know, at best, you would have instead someone like, you know, Calendar Man in the Silver Age against Batman having to pull a prank or something, but not to this caliber.
You know, the weird thing is, like I mentioned...
I can actually confirm something. Godfather 2 came out in December 1974, the same year this release, so...
Like I said, Wibbs, more exceptions than actual rules in terms of overall as a decade.
Yeah.
Androva.
Like, again, the weird thing is, like, remember, this was released in Canada actually in October, you know, more appropriate month, Halloween that it is, but released in December for the United States specifically, so, like, I wonder why.
Again, it was just the fact that people, well, again, festivities. If I recall correctly, releasing the movie on around Christmas, if not on Christmas Day, will be a problem that one of the remakes will actually have. I forgot which specific one. But anyway, it turns out that I already kind of screwed up in terms of not recognizing anyone from the cast. Our main protagonist is played by Olivia Hussey, which played a rather important role in the Peter Ustinov Death on the Nile movie that was released in 1978.
These are seriously the most Canadian-sounding Americans ever.
Hey.
It's
Maybe
not
they
as
moved
weird,
from Canada. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jover, it's not as weird as the most South African sounding Canadians
You
from
know
the
what?
English dub of Anne of Green Gables.
Okay.
You know,
I only point this out because I find it weird because nowadays Canadians, at least most Canadians I see in media, are able to perfectly hide their Canadian accent.
Okay, turns out we also have a more contemporary, kind of reference. One of the characters that I don't think has shown up yet, Peter, is actually played by Keir Duella, who was born in 1936 and has a rather extensive career on his own, but is still doing stuff to his very day, so that's pretty cool, actually.
Sounds
But
like Tata on the line.
But very recently, he voiced apparently one of the major characters of Starfield.
Okay.
So
How
that's his
nice.
only video game role. Bethesda just grabbed this guy out of retirement or something.
Well, that makes sense too, because they also the Tropical Human grabbed Lance Erickson.
Also, they had Patrick Stewart for Elder Scrolls 4, so I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Why haven't you all hung up yet?
How about this?
It's like watching a train crash here. They just cannot stop listening.
How about this, Joe? I'll just do the typical thing that a lot of Europeans that I know say. Well, you guys are all North Americans. I checked.
Apparently, if it wasn't for the Saigon.
The weird thing is, nowadays, you would never be able to tell Jim Carrey's Canadian without him telling you, because dude sounds perfectly American. Granted, maybe it was a thing back in the 70s. And, to be fair, that's not to say that there aren't still Canadians without an accent. Heck, you still do see the stereotypical accent. It's just well, man, it's weird to look back in a time in media where, Canadians were clearly more Canadian than American, because, nowadays, you see plenty of Canadians playing Americans flawlessly and vice versa.
You just put a funny image on it. I'm more Canadian than you.
Basically.
So, if I understand correctly, the plot is that these girls here may be under the countenance and sequestering of a psychotic killer who wants to kill them all.
They're actually arguing if they should pay attention to that or not, if it's just a Christmas prank. I guess people really had nothing better to do back then.
I guess not. Dwebs.
Yeah.
Who's more British, you or Shirai?
Dwebs, I guess.
Me, I guess, yeah.
She sounds so proud of it.
I think there's a better follow-up question. Do any of you actually care about that?
Oh,
I do.
I'm Welsh, is what I am.
Also, I forgot that John Saxon is also in this movie. I forgot Nancy's father in Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, what a fluff ball.
Very fluffy.
Oh, you're gonna die, aren't you?
Oh.
Her or the
fair,
cats?
this was the 70s. There was a lot of animal cruelty in Hollywood back then.
Is that cat a Maine, I wonder?
I think it's called Mark.
No, the species drove a Maine Coon. I guess because it resembles actually a raccoon with a pattern or something. I don't know.
It's floofy and large enough, so that's why I assumed.
Honestly, for this, I'll be honest, for this round of commentary picks, I'm legit considering there's a new film of it coming out this year. I'm surprised none of you guys have picked The Exorcist.
Thought you were going to say The Haunted Mansion.
That's
instead.
that's already out.
That's the thing, Dwebs. I'm kind of an oddball when it comes to that movie, where a lot of people talk about to me as one of the scariest movies ever made. Whenever I watch that movie, I'm just laughing because I find it so silly.
Also, Exorcist 2 legitimately sucks so much that I'm not that eager to jump into that.
I saw the first movie, it's kind of ridiculous.
What about the third one?
Better than 2, but not on par with the first.
I didn't know they made more than one, to be honest with you.
If I recall, the third is actually one of the best jump scares in movie history, so there is that.
That'd be interesting to see.
That hospital scene, yeah.
Yeah.
Since I find most jump scares lazy
one
these
of the
days.
remakes, one of the 2 remakes of this movie will actually reference
reference The Exorcist of all things?
specifically that jump scare that I mentioned. More in context when we get to that.
For a second, wait, Auntie Mabel, what are you doing here?
Yeah, and why is she keeping a hat like inside?
Okay, it's not the same actress or anything, but she looks kind of like her a little bit.
Yeah,
Wow,
I wish I had bulls. It will help.
Wow,
there we go.
Wow, Sheila, I didn't know Come Outside took this darker turn.
Oh God.
Like, what? Like, is this what happened when Pippin died? He went back in time and possessed somebody and started killing people?
Oh
Yes.
God.
Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
But they
Yeah,
never ever teach you how to deal with the rest of the battle, now do they?
Well, do we have to tell you everything? Can't you figure out anything on your own?
I'm too lazy for that.
So you
Well,
really
that
are
sounds
a
like
cat.
That sounds like a you problem, Missy.
I won't deny that.
Boy, these American sorority girls do be crazy, yo.
Well, I mean, this movie was filmed in Toronto.
You
Are
know,
sororities even a thing outside America?
Love it. Absolutely
Yes.
love it.
we must, of course, consult the good book, of course.
That makes sense.
I mean, it's Christmas. Fuck everything.
Yeah, exactly. Drink and be merry.
In any order.
But my
you
name
prefer.
is... But my name is Mary.
And then it turns out she's the psychotic killer after all.
Also, you may notice at least one. Yeah, there you go. This girl on the right, she's wearing the Christmas ugly sweater. Just a precursor of it at least. I still have to have my goal to actually get one at some point.
I have one of the Sonic ones.
Great.
Beautiful.
And yeah, you can tell it's also the 70s because she's having those the pants. I
The
forgot what they're
go-go
called.
pants.
Oh, that's what they're the English name. My country were literally called elephant foot pants.
Oh wait, never mind.
gadget pants.
The term is bell-bottom pants. I'm thinking of go-go boots.
Because they're mostly a relic from the 60s, but they carried on over the 70s.
Okay, to the movie's credit, while maybe the synopsis mentions it's in America, I don't think the movie itself says that this is in America, so...
More importantly, more relevantly, it's not really important.
Oh,
I get the
yeah.
idea that the movie, manages to work out without you having to need to know.
Pretty much,
You
yeah.
can make a joke and say because of a criminality, it might be in Detroit, I guess.
America, Canada, who knows? Maybe someday we'll unite with Canada and it will be all the same.
Sure, Benjamin Franklin. Now go back seducing French woman. You're my favorite founding father, but that doesn't change.
Are you okay, lady?
She has drunk Shiri. What do you think?
What alcohol did she hide in that book anyway?
I didn't pay too much attention, but it certainly didn't look, light stuff. Oh, please tell me. Oh, yes.
Grandma's great.
She may
Let
be
me
the
see
most
if I can
wildest
find
party
it.
girl at this party.
Let me see if I can find who she's played by.
I wonder, she's probably going to die soon, but before that, I'd like to see more creative ways she hides alcohol in the house.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
she's a bit, indisposable.
She can't come to the door right now.
She's a bit indisposable.
She can't come to the door right now. 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 She can't come to the door right now.
She's a little busy on the rocking chair.
Taking a nap.
Okay, this movie has a composer, Carl Zitter, but Zitter, sorry. But if you have paid attention, there's not too much, like you said. Ooh, a Gothic church.
Hmm.
The funeral, I assume.
Well, no, since it's around Christmas time, I think it might be the same. And also remember, they did mention that the main character wanted to meet with Peter. Oh no, it's the snowman killer.
Like in Canada, like, do they tell the date like day then month like we do, or is it like you do, month and day?
I think it's like we do, but don't quote me on that. Like, let me check.
All right, I found in the meantime the actress who played, the drunken lady, Marianne Waldman, but she hasn't done that much stuff. Also, funny scrambling with the color. In my country, the name of the title is different. It's not Black Christmas, but it can be translated as a bloody red Christmas instead. No idea why. I mean, it conveys the idea of stabbing, the different murders happen, but that one was the original title was. In case you're wondering, Pedro, in your country, they kept the English title.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, that's where one of the memes come from, Shiro. You might have seen that.
I have it actually.
around. Yeah.
So, Pedro, it might please you to know that we have Keir Dullea in the cast.
Who? Sorry, I didn't listen.
Keir Dullea in the cast. He played David Bowman in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That is true. Yeah.
That's the one that I mentioned that got to play also in Starfield for some reason. Maybe because of that space stuff.
Well, yeah, obviously too. Like, that is true. I forgot. I wasn't. I must have not been listening to Teo earlier. No, that makes sense. I mean, yeah.
He was also in the sequel, 2010, The Year We Make Contact.
Jova, we try not to remember that existed.
Oh, look, as somebody who hasn't seen that film, I don't really know what's exactly the dealio with it.
Eventually.
Like, I've heard some people praise it, some people lambaste it.
Let me put it this way. It's a 2001 sequel for those who didn't like the first movie. As in, it takes away the ambiguity and minimalistic style of the original movie for something that's more conventional.
Also,
but by doing that, you're taking away what made the original movie special.
So
also, a lot of unnecessary comedy, like a talking dolphin.
So basically, Pedro, that guy who I was in the cinema with that fell asleep while the movie was on, maybe he'd like it.
Sure.
I guess I'll have to wait and see. So
yeah,
I guess
you'll eventually see, Jova.
So I guess this guy is
for your opinion.
So I'm guessing.
Man, chug lady.
So I'm guessing the guy with the glasses is the girl who got killed's father. Come looking for her or something.
Let me see to be sure. Yes, Claire's father.
Oh, God. What is it with girls named Claire always getting in trouble?
Claire is a very common name, I guess.
Besides, this Claire did not add an I in the name, Pedro. It's sorry, Jova. It's a Clare.
Oh, there you go, Sherry. The cat's name is Claude.
my problem, you alcoholic.
No,
Oh, shit.
Claude, Mommy is dealing.
Don't let the cat drink too.
This lady is such a mood, and I'm all here for it. No, seriously, I think she's my favorite character so far.
Yeah, same.
Mr. Harrison is played by James Edmond. Let me see. Oh, it was in one episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
By the way, Bob Clark sort of guest cameos in this movie as one of the killer's shadows, apparently.
Interesting
Some-
casting.
Yeah. Sometimes the funniest thing is just a crazy old person.
Mm-hmm. That's why in our playthroughs I always make every old woman a crazy old woman.
Oh my god, these haircuts.
That's a Beatles haircut if ever I've seen one.
Tail, meet the 70s.
I know, it's just that. It's not even a case of saying, oh, they look ugly or anything, but just by visualizing, I can only imagine the excruciating, effort that you need to put in maintaining them.
Still got nothing
Like,
on the app.
if they actually enjoy that, good on them. It's just that, man, lots of patience.
So yeah, she's pregnant but doesn't want to keep the baby.
And they had to consider something. Yeah.
Elaine, you gotta see the baby.
Okay, Samus, we'll talk about it later.
No.
No, we're not. We're not addressing that shit.
I hear its cries every night to the thousand
Shut up,
winds.
Samus. You're gonna need to see Uncle Ravenbeak. Good acoustic. I mean,
know.
it makes sense when it's a piano. Peter.
I do say. Ah, it's nice to see when Canadians
Damn.
keep some of their Britishness.
That's a tad controlling.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I know this is not the same actor, but he does resemble a bit the guy they use for the commercials in RoboCop. I'll buy that for $1.
Ah, those crazy sororities where the girls feed even little kids alcohol.
Underage drinking. Merry Christmas.
Boy,
Hey.
Shiroi, I gotta know, are British sororities that crazy over in Wales too?
We don't have those.
Wait, you
You
don't
have to
have
understand,
sororities?
sororities and communities in universities and colleges tend to be mostly an American thing.
Yeah.
Because
No, we just
mostly,
call them get-togethers.
because a lot of universities there do have, the campus where, the students just live there. While in my country, at least in my country, I can't speak for the rest of Europe, but most university are things like that. You buy your own apartment, nearby, or if you still live with your parents, nearby, you just, sleep there.
Yeah, you basically get dorms for the first year if you qualified to stay in them, and then for like the second year onwards around here, like you move into houses generally.
Okay, then.
Billy sounds like a very naughty boy.
Yeah, here's also another problem that a lot of the movies of the 70s had unfortunately to report, the pacing. Not much has really happened so far, despite, having properly setting things up with some of the characters, but I can feel that a couple of the scenes are slightly stretched and they don't really tell that much when you get down to it, and yet you still played. If I recall correctly, this was the same decade where my country made that beautiful mess that is Yours World, and at least my country's original cut encapsulates that because it's a mini series of 4 hours total.
I'll generate the clickbaity description. Join us for our commentary where Tio explains why he hates the 70s.
Like, the 70s did have good stuff, but I get why people throw a lot of shade at them.
I'm mostly picking just on a matter of Hollywood dreams. If I had to speak in general as a whole, I would have to tell you about the history of my country, and you don't want to hear that,
Godfather and
especially
Rocky.
now.
Although, you want to talk about something that really everyone threw under the bus from the 70s? Disco.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? I don't even want to say that it was disco itself's fault, because no, there was good disco stuff. It's just that, well, I think Todd and Shadows puts it well, where disco started off well, especially, with an African-American vernacular, but then a lot of other people tried to cash in on disco, and, well, disco kind of became the town bike of music, essentially.
I won't go too much into it, Jova. But here in Britain, disco was like the thing that is like the thing we wish was the worst thing we can forget about the 70s.
Hey Dwibs, remember when Ringo Starr tried to go disco?
And it's not even the worst thing that he has done.
Wait, really?
Check his paintings, Jova.
I feel like the movie
It's kind of like how. Sorry.
I feel like the movie is going to pick up once they find that body that's been in there for like 2 days now, but this has been a very slow start and we're nearly halfway through.
I will
not really halfway through, Shiri. We're just, halfway there.
I said nearly.
Well, it's 1/3 rather than half.
I'd agree with you
I
that
guess.
we're more of a third of the way there, but I do agree that it's weird that they haven't found the body yet. Like, and okay, you know what? In a sense, it's like Tio said. I feel like this movie has a bit of early installment weirdness in it. Like, not to say that there may not have been other slasher films, but this is definitely one of the earliest notable slasher films. So, like, with a lot of formulas, I can get the idea that.
I wonder if this movie was made by Canadians.
The cat was trying to tell them about the body, probably, but the lady called him a prick and left the house.
She wasn't, exactly, 100% concentrated.
Is this Canada flexing about how much better at hockey they are? Although, ironically enough, Bob Clark, the director/producer, he's from New Orleans.
As for Disco Jova, well, it's just kind of like how in the late 90s, the gamers unanimously declared that the FMV genre needed to die, and it died. So...
But yeah, in regards to this movie, I can get why it has a pacing issue. Like, this is definitely probably before this form of film was fully refined.
Like I said, Jova, it's the Seinfeld is unfunny trope in a sense that, if you understand the context it was made, the fact that there wasn't precedence and anything, you get Jesus Christ. You get what they were trying to do, and they just, had to improvise. What the
I get the feeling that's to reflect his state of mind at the moment, given that Jess wants to get rid of the baby.
I call this MASH.
Just throw everything in the trash, including the piano.
Also, this guy looks like he's trying to do his best Alex from Clockwork Orange impression.
Well, like I said, Jova, that's Peter, so he's the guy who worked with Kubrick.
Yeah, I know, but it's funny because, like, he's not Malcolm McDowell, but damn, he looks like he's going for Alex in this.
So does that mean we're going to get a lot of ultra-violence in this movie?
I mean, it's supposed to be a precursor to slashers, so some degree.
Okay, yeah. While this is a classic horror film, I can definitely see why someone will want a remake of this movie. Neat. But yeah, I mean, while this movie is a classic, I can see why it would be considered clear grounds for a remake, because, yeah, the pacing is pretty naff at the moment.
Okay.
I'm guessing that's her boyfriend or something. Oh, there we go. Okay, wait, it's a horror film. So, of course, after he finds out that Clara's dead, he'll grieve, and then Jess will be there to give him a shoulder to cry on. Oh, I know, but Jess is going out with that Alex look-like, Peter, yeah. Mm-hmm. Although, Peter seems potentially unhinged. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the killer with how he's acting.
Again, being, a mystery of some kind, it also makes you guess who the slasher could be.
That's neat, actually. And you know what? I could maybe see them trying to merge the ideas of the slasher thing with mystery so I could get it being something of a slow burn.
I mean, it's kind of what ultimately Scream started to do.
We are learning so much from this movie.
Now.
Stoned, drunk, and smoked high off my ass. God forbid that's the girl who's pregnant.
Damn.
I have nothing better to do than to watch turtles procreate.
I mean, you do you with your time.
To each his own, I guess.
And I watched the zebras, and then the lions, and then the elephants. I've never seen a dong as big as my height, but that elephant provided. And don't even get me started on the monkeys.
Jim, are you sure you're not watching that film with the crazy production with the lions again?
Roar, no thanks.
Roar.
Oh, that's Barb.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, Lois had a very crazy childhood before she became a reporter. Lois, the death wasn't your fault.
You had to let go.
Yes, let go.
You just need to accept that Superman has decided to take a Sabbath, away from Earth. Also, need to raise a strange child.
I'll remember that you have to do it like this, Theo. I think you need to get over that, Lois.
I love it how the guy didn't say a single word in all of this.
Like, it's his daughter missing, and even he feels...
Jesus.
Whoa!
That's the waste of a perfectly good piano.
Well, just the piano top, but still, though. Wait. No, don't do it!
I mean, the 70s was also the start of a counterculture movement, so that will be art and everything.
I can't believe I suck at piano!
It's not that he sucks at piano, it's just that his girlfriend wants an abortion.
I hate pianos, actually.
Okay, how is that girl's body not even smelling at this point?
Because it's in the attic, I think. Maybe it's because, the smell isn't propagated enough.
I guess, but dang.
See Snowman movie? This is how you're supposed to make one shot where we are outside of a window and you are not supposed to hear what the others are saying inside. It's that easy.
What did the snowman get right?
The comedy, unintentionally, I guess.
I
think I'll contest even that.
I'm
Can you even call it a movie?
Well, it was released in theaters, wasn't it?
It's more
Well-
it's structured more like a movie than a lot of other, mockumentaries or documentaries that pass themselves for a movie.
Well, dude, I'll tell you the same thing we said in our Book of Henry commentary. I mean, cameras were used to film it.
Again, I'll give the father credit. He is acting extremely level-headed, given that it's his daughter missing.
He's very you can tell from his facial expression that he's very worried, but he's keeping the dialogue to a minimum, probably because of that. He's worried enough and doesn't want to panic too much.
It could also potentially be a clue of him being the killer for whatever reason.
Clearly, the killer was John Saxon. Poor bastard.
Oh, what happened with John Saxton?
No, in a sense that he always tends to play the part of the good guy that eventually gets killed. I don't really think it happens in this movie, mind you, but that's what happens in Nightmare on Elm Street for Part 3. I think he was in an episode of Murder, She Wrote.
Honestly, it's easier to make a list of who wasn't on Murder, She Wrote back in the day. Jesus. Like, it seems like Murder, She Wrote was that era's Monk. I should show
It
you
was like
guys.
American. Round here, we had quite a few shows where famous actors got their start. Like we had Casualty, and we used to have The Bill.
Apparently, John Saxon was also in this horror comedy called My Mom's a Werewolf. Not to be confused with My Sister's a Werewolf.
Actually, excuse me, Trova, that's Stir by Werewolf Beach.
Yeah, I refuse to call it by
Kitty,
that.
what are you doing?
It's Turbo Werewolf Bitch.
Also, Shiroy, what's the cat about to do with that corpse?
What's the cat doing?
Was the cat the murderer?
Of course.
Oh my god, dude, it's the cats from Suzume. They're back.
I mean, that body's been there for a few days. It's fair game at this point. Just saying.
Claude, are you trying to tell me something?
No.
Not talking to you.
Will you please be quiet? I'm trying to lick the corpse.
The
Come
what?
again?
I mean the Corps. That's it. The Marine Corps are here.
Claude, are you hiding things from me? We don't need a repeat of the last time you dug up a body.
I thought it was a ball. I didn't know it was someone's. Never mind.
Do you want to hide a body?
No.
So that's what Frozen 2010 sequel was going to be.
No, that's gonna be the dark and gritty version when the movie comes into public domain.
God. That's so disappointing because that's all people tend to do when something becomes public domain. They just make the dark, gritty version.
Okay.
The fact that there's not much effort put into that.
Okay. Let's be fair. There actually are a lot of good things made with public domain. It's just that the internet likes to highlight the dark and gritty stuff.
Uh-oh.
Oh, snap. How did
Not to
that
mention
cat...
this- Go on.
How did that cat get up there if the place is closed normally? Oh,
Well,
no.
Oh god, his Christmas jewels.
There we go.
Oh,
You were saying, Pedro?
Back in the 70s, Universal proved in court that King Kong was public domain. Would you say they did the same there?
Maybe.
And hey, to be fair, Nintendo
Oh, so
had
which
to...
one is the dark and gritty
Choice.
one? So which of the? So
No,
which of the King Kong
not the
movies is
best
dark and gritty
character in the
one?
movie!
Peter
how
Jackson.
dare!
I guess more like the boring, unnecessarily padded out one, but whatever.
What was that close up?
I don't know.
Also,
No!
Also, it's funny. While she at first did a death scream, at some point she sounded like she was more inconvenienced by having her head be stabbed by a hook.
Do you mind not stabbing my face? It ruins my complexion.
Sorry, ma'am. Next time I'll just chop off your head completely.
Thank you. At least
Shame
then my face will look well put together. And we're back with first-person murderer vision.
Okay, but
Wow.
why?
Well, why not? He's a murderer and he's psychotic.
Okay, so we know it can't be any of these guys because they're here at the moment, unless they somehow have gotten Chucky's ability to zoom back and forth
Teleporter.
between places.
Yeah, plot twist. This is actually a prequel to Chucky.
Another.
This is actually a prequel where we get to see the actual murderer when he was in human form.
There we go.
Do you mind? I'll just drink you my coffee.
It's Christmas, shouldn't be eggnog.
Oh, that doesn't sound very nice.
Janice. Oh boy.
Great
the heck?
transition. Or the lose. Well, okay then. Ugh, fake out.
Very much a fake out.
I mean, this guy's the obvious suspect. 'Cause,
Yeah, you need to
well,
apply Scooby-Doo logic on this.
Especially since, he was in the house without her knowledge now.
Not to mention, we've seen earlier, he's not exactly the most sane person in the world. He decides to take rejection from a piano recital because of his own shitty playing skills by bashing said piano.
Well, to be fair, I think the crappy playing skills aren't how he normally plays. It's just that his mind clearly wasn't in it due to the news of just wanting to get rid of the baby.
Plot twist.
Elm
He just
Street.
is right next door to you.
Clearly, it's Dracula is the killer.
So we need to call Simon Belmont on this. Or, sorry, let's see.
Or
Who's
maybe
the...
it's the thing that the houses are inherited, by the descendants of a Belmont.
Remind me, Tio, who's the modern Belmont by the time of the 90s?
Julius.
Julius. So I guess probably Julius would be the Belmont around.
Was he, still, in a good age to fight in the 70s? I don't know.
Well, given how he was fighting by the 90s, yeah, I could see
Again,
him...
we need to calculate, remember, because, Ariel Sori set a lot after Battle 99, and Julius around the time he looks like in his 50s.
So, let's see. Okay. So,
If it's not Julius, he's his father, I guess.
Well, keep in mind, Sorrel, I think that got to the 2000s, because, when I say 1999, that's the 1999 war, which, for some reason, Konami has not yet made a game on, even though that is legit one of the most obvious things to do, but I digress. I'm not kidding you, Dwibs. The 1999 war is essentially the point where the modern militaries and everything were actually ready for Dracula this time, and...
That's because the Belmonts, instructed, and Alucard, undercover, instructed them to wait until that moment.
I love it! One of those rare moments where the government actually do listen to the heroes, so they prepped, and Dracula pretty much got the equivalent of, the future is now, old man, and... Well, yeah, Julius put an end to him.
Something.
That is a good point.
At the very least, it's one of those things that, you definitely need to talk about it. Ouch.
Oh,
I mean, at the end of their phone call earlier in the movie, he was like, "I love you," and she said, "I know." So, the writing was on the wall, my dude.
So, is it she loves him but doesn't want to marry? Or is it she's fallen out of love with him and that's part of also why
Could be either one. She's either falling out of love or he could be moving too fast. Because, if they're in a sorority, they're still in education, right? That's a university, college thing. So, marrying right now would be a terrible idea.
Oh god, yeah, no. Marrying during college, not recommended. Although...
Wait. Has someone there done it before?
Whatever. I've seen it work.
Oh, it can work, but I can also understand how it can add strain. And trust me, as someone who's been through college, you have enough to worry about without being married. Huh?
Hilarious.
Absolutely.
You guys are
absolutely.
You guys are right up there with Laura and Hardy as genius comedic duos.
I guess consider little team more like Abbott and Costello. That would be an interesting movie. Abbott and Costello versus the Black Christmas Killer. Is there a doctor in the audience?
We need one because someone's just been murdered.
Oh my god.
Yes,
Phrasing!
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you can't get the obvious joke and laugh like us professionals. For shame, Mac, for shame. Bless his naive, pure mind and heart.
Oh. Um.
Yep, I'm convinced he's the killer.
I mean, unless
Or
they're...
if,
I think he's
Or
just
if
a dick.
Or if he's not the killer, he's just a. Or if he's not the killer, he's just a giant dick.
Well, obviously, but you need to apply Scooby-Doo logic, Dweebs, as in, maybe red herrings, are there for a reason.
At this point, we do actually have half of this movie left, so...
Yes.
So I guess Jess is our main protagonist for this movie?
Yes,
Huh.
I'm guessing that's one of the main talking points of the movie offers abortion, or specifically how some people can be dicks about it.
Just have to remember, Dweebs, that the 70s was the decade where, the subject was starting to be talked, more about in the public first, and as such it raised a lot of controversies. So it was inevitable that movies around the time will actually talk about it.
Okay, I've only tangentially heard about why the 2019 remake is mocked, but given some things I've heard about it, I think I'm starting to see how that remake may have ran wild with some stuff, but I'll just wait till I actually see it. But I'm getting a feeling.
In general, connected to what I just said about,
I thought it was a sequel, not a straight-up remake.
Nope.
That's
the thing, Shiro. They tried to reboot it once in 2006, which is the one we were gonna watch soon enough.
From what I understand... go on.
And I forgot what company was behind that one, but... and then at the end of the 2010s, Jason Blum was like to Universal, can I actually try my hands at one of these? Try a remake one of these? And they were like, sure, but you have like a few months to do everything.
So, a typical Blumhouse picture.
I don't remember how much it did, but again, that's what we need to find out eventually.
Anyway, from what I understand, the 2006 remake was a box office success and...
But it wasn't really well received at the time, but again, you will have to see, when we get to that as well.
Okay. So it seems like Black Christmas may just be, I guess, a franchise. It's billed as the Black Christmas series, even though pretty much the other two movies are just remakes instead of sequels.
So there has been no real sequels, even though the movie still ends relatively open.
Maybe the real Black Christmas was the friends we made along the way.
Shut up. Yeah. So yeah, we're actually implementing countermeasures if the weirdo tries to call again. Classic, stakeout, they need to actually, the person receiving the call needs to,
and be
working
traced.
them.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks empty.
Budget, ma'am.
Just pretend there is something inside. It's like
There we
that,
go. That's somebody.
It's like the mug that Kirk Cameron drinks at the beginning of Saving Christmas.
Heh.
Yeah, the way it cut to her crying, I thought she was reacting to that guy's bullet.
God, imagine if Chris is the killer. I'll give credit, that would actually be a pretty neat twist. Although, wait, hold on, I think he was on the search committee while McHenry was getting killed, too.
Can you imagine if either Phoenix Wright or Professor Layton got thrown into the Black Christmas saga?
Honestly, this
I mean,
does
Twitter
seem
dreams,
like a kind of a mystery that they could get involved with. Like,
the first game literally has case 1-4, in said during Christmas, or at least almost Christmas.
and both of their series have had cases that reference or are takes on classic stories, especially in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
They don't never particularly dwell too much into festivities. Remind me, Pedro, since there were a lot of episodes that I might forgot one of them. Did any episode of the Lady Dayton anime was set during one of the festivities?
I'm trying to. Oh, there was Dubs, what's that British holiday? Goodwin, I think.
Well, I'm guessing not of the more mainstream ones.
Yeah, like we have Saint Insert Saint here Day from different countries. Like
All Saints Wake Day is the day after Halloween, and ideally the first
the
of November.
the Saint George's Day here in England, the Saint David's Day in Wales. Also, apparently St. George's Day is also celebrated in Portugal. So apparently he's a patron saint.
Oh, here it is. I forgot. I was getting the name wrong. St. George's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Does that involve festivities, Dubs?
Sort of.
Well, there you go then.
Poopy. Jesus.
Nightmare.
Rapper. Also, those glass,
Oh, she has asthma.
Hollywood asthma to be precise, Jova.
Yeah.
Like I said during the Goonies, interesting attempt, but bit mistaken.
Like, Hollywood disabled versus actual disabled is a real distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh? Seems like they're being watched.
Mm-hmm. And so you notice that that's the kind core in the movie. Whoever the killer might be, manages to always be in control and stalk these people throughout the house. They just cannot find them.
Huh, surprised Black Christmas hasn't been added to Dead by Daylight.
Mostly because, again, there's not much you can do. Also, those curtains, Jesus. Incredible to be this place.
Fashionable. Oh wait, wasn't the Dalmatians, wasn't 101 Dalmatians a 70s flick?
I think it was from the 50s.
No, the Dalmatians was 60s.
Okay, then. Yeah, that would
It was
explain a
one,
lot.
if I remember correctly, it was one of the few movies that were still greenlit by Walt before he
Yeah.
died.
The last
1961.
One the last one was the Jungle Book, so yeah.
Oh, wait. Did Dalmatians come out in 61, does?
Let me check.
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, that was actually one of the few ones that still released while Walt was alive then.
Yeah.
For
Like
some
I
reason,
said,
I was putting it later in the 60s.
The last one was Jungle Book and,
Yeah.
Robin
From
Hood
what I
Forever,
understand, 101 Dalmatians was showing off some new animation technology.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because of all the dots that they had to put. That's another thing.
Oh,
My country
doesn't that
doesn't.
fill you with just the highest of hopes, those children caroling?
My country doesn't really have actually caroler. It's not even a thing like we hate to sing or anything. It's just not a tradition here. When it comes to the singing, people tend to just do that during the masses in churches.
Hey,
We
Bar.
typically just sing, pop Christmas songs.
Hey, Barb, you know that dream? I think
Yeah,
it's
well,
about
I
to
was
come
saying
true.
before- I was saying before, having all those, glass statues and everything near your bed, it's a hell hazard, and you're about to experience it firsthand.
Oh my god, is he about to pull an Alex and bludgeon her with that statue?
Actually, it's a unicorn, so you know what that means.
Stab, stab, stab.
With conveniently loud singing outside.
Did we need a close-up of the lips, though?
Oh god, so the children ironically acted as an accomplice by shielding out her cries from the sound.
Mhm. It's the equivalent of shooting while people are popping out. the
Is that
champagne.
is that how the film's gonna end? The children get arrested for aiding and abetting?
I mean,
This
it
is not-
wouldn't be the only film where the children turn out to be in on the murder.
Yeah, this is not the Hostel series, Dweebs.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was very good, children.
Yeah,
Merry
sure.
Christmas. No. Caroling used to, like, door-to-door used to be more common around here, but it's sort of something that's died out.
Mm-hmm.
Might that have to do with a certain pandemic?
I think Joey might be a thing, over the decades.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a while.
I still hear about some caroling, though normally that is admittedly people just doing it at a particular location as opposed to doing it door by door, so...
I guess it may also depend on, cities and states, even in North America. Like more, where some places might have it more, recurring or not. Stephen King, what are you doing here?
That does look like him.
Alright, let's see if through the powerful technologies of the police, if we manage to find the killer.
How is the killer getting all these voices anyway?
Very crafty.
Or maybe the killer's just a really good voice actor.
They can
Wait.
both be true.
So the killer's Mel Blanc?
Oh god.
He wasn't paid enough, so.
Open it, varmint, close it. Close it. Close it again.
Well, hopefully the police were able to get a good trace on that.
Considering the keys are disconnected before, probably not. Yeah. Mission failed. We're gonna get him next time.
Shit.
Also, this killer is very crafty in a sense of not leaving even footprints or handprints or on doors or walls or any kind.
Yeah, like, kudos to him. He may be psychotic, but this killer seems to know his craft.
Well, Jova, over here in my country, we have a saying that translated into English literally basically translates out to, well, if you're going to do something, no matter what it is, at least do it well. So, yeah. Like, and yeah, it applies to bad things too. Like, if you're going to do something bad, at least do it properly.
They're at suspecting the boyfriend territory now. Surprised it took them this long.
Because otherwise it would be, people would usually say, not only is he a killer, but he's also crap at it.
Yeah, they aren't even dead. So does that mean he's an attempted killer?
Grandpa, take your meds.
Sideways.
Take your meds. It's Christmas. Come on.
So I guess these bits with the police are meant to be comedy bits, I suppose?
A bit to alleviate a bit of tension.
It's weird because this isn't billed as a horror comedy. Last I checked.
No, it's more the thing of not having the movie being too bleak.
Well, the thing about...
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah. The thing about horror movies of this kind is that they're usually meant to have both, like, even if they're straight, or like, for example, the first three Child's Play movies, they're meant to be just straightforward horror, not necessarily comedy horror, but they still have comedy in it. So this is more like a staple of the genre more than anything.
Even
Yeah,
the first
that's
Nightmare on
fair.
Elm Street, which was more serious, still had some minor moment of relief.
Yeah, you know what? That is fair. Like, you know, just because something's billed as a horror comedy doesn't mean that it's going to be like a full-on horror. Like, as in, like, it is allowed to have moments of levity.
It's kind of like Deadly Premonition, Joe. But that movie has a lot of funny moments, yeah, but it's not a comedy, you know.
So we haven't heard much from our officer in the car outside the house. Maybe we should check up.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to say about the cat?
Still going with the theory that the cat is the murderer.
Although going back to the whole murder thing, there's like Theo just reminded me of Seinfeld earlier. Like one of my favorite Seinfeld stand-up routines is about people who fail once at committing suicide and then they just give up. It's just like they're like, well, okay, like see, this is why these people can function in life, because they give up too easily. The car didn't work. Try a rope.
Huh. Okay. Again, either the killer
Oh, maybe
is...
it was him. I don't know.
I know you want her baby, you just don't know it yet.
Piss off.
Oh, sorry. A bit of Twilight dialogue slipped in there. Except in Twilight, that's supposed. Except in Twilight, that is supposed to be endearing.
Of course.
By the way, it's been about an hour. Is anybody going to feed me?
Oh, sorry, Claude. We don't.
Aren't cats supposed to be very independent animals? You figure it out.
Yeah,
Like,
feed
come on.
yourself, you
I'm
little
royalty, damn it.
But you're a cat.
Yeah,
Can't you also hunt
he's
for
the same.
yourself? Like my mom's cat was very
Yeah.
good at hunting.
There's mice
But
over
I'm
there.
not your mom's cat.
There's mice over there. Go hunt.
That's the thing, Drova. Cats will become lazy, stay with the humans. They will blame them for that.
Yep. That's why they're assholes.
Although that begs the question, though. Why was he killing girls even before she told him about the news? Like,
Suspicious.
What else?
To be fair, he's showcased to be insane, so who knows?
Yep.
Yeah, and he's helped to go to prison.
or a psychiatric ward. So we thought it was Peter, but now it sounds like it can't be him, seeing as though he was at the house when one of the calls was made.
So...
I'll admit, Peter was shaping up to be the biggest suspect, so
He's just a dick.
Red herrings.
So unless he pulled something, though, like, I guess we have to wonder who else has a motive or opportunity to have done it.
Oh wait, there's no butlers here.
Closest
They
thing
live
to
in a big house, but they don't have a butler.
Closest thing to a butler they may have had was McHenry, but she's dead, so unless she masterminded her own death, she's kind of
the
off
70s, where you could just, guzzle down pills like it was no tomorrow.
A? Huh.
That guy
you're suspicious, pointing that shotgun right at me.
That guy on the left looked like an older George Costanza, aka instead of the rival neighbor, in Jingle All the Way.
Is that neighborhood watch shit?
And they mentioned, search party. Yeah, seriously, you guys have shit locking systems up there. I can tell you, if someone wants to enter a house here in Newport, they need to put some serious effort.
Funnily enough, Olivia Hussey would end up being in a few cartoons, mainly Pink, a couple episodes of Pinky and the Brain, and the Superman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond.
Now, they haven't found her body yet, have they?
When you say... when you said her body, the someone who's still alive is on the screen. What is he going to be the next victim?
No, they had another
bed.
shot of the attic. So, where Potty Grandma died.
Oh, well, that's a good point. They don't seem to know that Barb is dead yet. Not the site I expected to come into. A piano smashed to bits.
Those are expensive.
Now what music am I going to play?
Disco! It's the 70s, baby!
Yep.
I hope in no way locking all the doors backfires.
Trapped in your own prison.
Oh. Oh, was the killer calling from the very house itself?
Hmm.
A lot of the shots from, like, even from the beginning, like, seem to suggest that.
Mm-hmm.
Charming.
Jeez.
God, the old days when this was how phone tracking was done.
Mm-hmm. And you should have seen how computer looked in the 70s.
Oh yeah,
Big-
flipping gigantic.
Big, expensive, unnecessary, and slow as shit.
And they could barely fit on maybe a fraction of a megabyte.
It reminds me of one of the stupidest jokes in the Tandy Computer Whiz Kids comics, where they found a computer big inside a room, and one of the kids is like, "Did we actually build a room around the computer?" Like, oh, god damn it!
Come on, guys, search through.
Oh no,
Oh.
Dweebs, it's the empty child.
Crap.
Well, maybe Saxon is actually gonna live for this one, Tio.
Cool story, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Wait a minute. Oh, snap.
Whoa. I love it how they
Inside
never
the
consider.
house.
I know they never considered the option until this point.
Well, to be fair, this is older days. They probably wouldn't have considered that as much.
I think in this day and age, if you have a home phone, you really cannot replicate this trick.
Oh, and it looks like the killer took care of the guard cop.
Nash has a gash. He can't come to the phone.
Oh, no, that's the other guy. Nash is thankfully
It was
okay.
too good for not to use a pound rover.
Fair enough.
Nash's ash.
Wow.
Please answer me.
Oh, for fuck's sake. No, I don't want to extend my car warranty. It's Christmas. Fuck's
Maybe
sake.
Maybe they thought with the amount of people who live in this house that the calls couldn't be coming from in here because somebody would have noticed something, maybe?
Yeah, Barb definitely.
Yes,
Yeah,
She's a heavy sleeper.
She's dead tired.
Like, right the fuck now. Yeah, like, no questions.
Just get out!
Just listen to me, shit.
The frustration. Like, these poor coppers to work also on Christmas and do
Oh, they
this
couldn't
shit.
say the call is coming from inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go up there.
God damn it. Maybe,
Okay,
maybe
Jess,
she-
you're kind
maybe
of
that's where
asking to die if you don't just listen to the nice policeman's advice.
maybe
I'm going up there.
That's where
Oh,
the
maybe
cat.
maybe I was sorry. Go ahead.
Maybe that's where the cat went. You know, the cat possessed the body of Jess.
Yeah, the cat did it.
Maybe I was right. Maybe I was right. With maybe now she can do a good success at being suicidal. I guess.
Jesus.
Yeah, there you go.
I think screaming so loud it's peaking the audio.
Just get out. No.
He said get out.
That movie's not gonna be made for a long while, lives. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe Jordan Peele should give actual better titles to his movies.
There. That's Tio's hot take. Jordan Peele's
I know, but
movies have
it's
shit titles.
purposely done, but it's still not particularly funny.
Oh, here you go. I found this. I found the quote. After they fail, they stop trying. Why don't they just keep trying? What's changed? Is their life any better now? No, in fact, it's worse because now they've found out that there's one more thing you stink at. Yeah, and he says, I say, pills don't work. Try a rope. Car won't start in the garage. Get a tune-up. There's nothing more rewarding than reaching a goal you've set for yourself.
Yeah, but not that kind of goal.
It's a
Cheerio,
joke, Sheila.
yeah.
You're not meant to take it seriously.
If the universe tells you no, no.
Cheer, you just had to believe hard enough. Also, I'm pretty sure that one of the shadows was actually the camera on the set. Oops. Like, did nobody?
No, that
really
was one
check
of
that?
the shadow actors.
The ninja stages.
You're an idiot.
Man, what a fragile though. Oh, well. Okay, now you get out of the house, right?
I mean, you have literally every reason to get the heck out of there.
Yeesh.
Poke him in the eye.
There you go, close
Or
enough.
do that.
You literally could have been out home.
Oh yeah, they locked all the doors, didn't they?
Take.
You could have been out nice and home free before, but nope.
Maybe she really is a cat because she got too curious. You know what happens?
Yep, curiosity killed the cat.
Goodness, that killer is strong.
And faster. And apparently knows every intricacies of the house. To be fair, Jova, you kind of had a point. It would have fit a bit with the Dead by Daylight, gameplay style. I guess
Yeah.
it's just a thing of, the game is not too, the movie was not famous enough or have too much iconic stuff that they could do.
Like, it's regaled as a classic, but I'll admit, it's not like one of those classics that you will, like, easily hear about. Again, as ashamed as I am to admit, legit, the only reason I even know about the Black Christmas series is because of the 2019 remake, and that was due to all the very spotty reception it was getting.
I don't remember much about the marketing of the 2006 movie, and it was in a time where I was paying attention to movie trailers, so I don't know what happened here.
Metro Police.
Ah, yeah, so the famous Metro Police. Maybe this is Metro City.
I'm just glad it's not called the police.
Well, I don't know. Final Fight tells me that the police officers, of Metro City are not that effective. Hell, one of them is literally super corrupt.
They are so corrupt.
They killed my wife. Well, to be fair, in the case of the first Final Fight, they kidnapped Hager's daughter.
The sad part too is that aside from the "they killed my wife" part, the whole "I hate the politicians in my country. They're so corrupt." That basically applies 100% straight in my country. So
I mean, there's a lot of applicability. Yeah, you can definitely tell that the score was only kept to a diegetic kind of thing, unless it's reserved for a scare chord. Occasionally, and this movie doesn't really have too much of a score on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Who could that be? It's Peter.
Oh god.
Rude.
Oh well, he is surprisingly acting a lot more calm. So if he is the killer, shoot, I have to wonder if he has, like, different personas.
It's as was said earlier, he's just a very good actor.
Mm-hmm.
No.
no.
Yep, he's dead.
Alright, we're coming.
Well, Screaming gives them a reason to enter.
Here's Johnny. Also, with that, a bit, a bit stereotypical, outfit, John Saxon looks a bit like Joe Friday.
Huh.
Well, called Phelps' dad for a second there.
Or, given that it's the 70s, wouldn't that be... Oh, she beat him to death.
Mm-hmm, with a fire poker.
So
Also,
I guess...
that body's big as shit.
Plot twist! Jess herself was the killer, and it was a different persona of hers.
At least we got the killer, at least.
Was it Peter,
Yeah,
though?
just-
Like, I mean, granted, yeah, if that was him, good acting when he acted calm, but... Huh.
I feel like we're gonna get one of those I lived bitch moments at the end of this.
What, where Peter turns out to be alive?
No, the killer was someone else entirely.
Yeah, I am wondering, really, because, again, like... Oddly enough, Peter's mannerisms did not match the killer, and oddly enough, they didn't show his death on screen. That's usually something you actually do reserve for the main killer or something.
Lincolnville.
So was this even on Christmas itself, I wonder? Or just in the Christmas season?
Similar to Krampus, set to do in the days around Christmas.
There were decorations outside, weren't there? Like,
Oh,
at least the holiday season, not necessarily Christmas Day.
Ah, yes, the holiday season, the legal way to call it.
Also, poor Claire's father, he still did not say much lines. I wonder if it's because the actor was not particularly capable, and as such they just kept him, with the appearance only.
I wonder if they were gonna...
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a bit
Fucking
loud.
journalist.
Oh! Apparently he fainted.
Everyone needs to go to the hospital tonight.
Yep, they're leaving her alone, and I'm sure nothing bad will happen to her while they're out of this room.
Surely, Shira, you're too worried.
The cat's gonna eat her.
We still haven't seen the little shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Surely she should be in the hospital too, though, right? For like the mental trauma. I don't
Also,
know.
for being called a slasher movie, there's not a whole lot of slashing.
No,
Well-
this killer loves to strangle instead.
Okay, to be fair, I don't think slashers generally mean you're just slashing overall. It's just, slashers mean, big body counts and all that.
Looks like a robot.
No,
Yeah.
It did look, yeah.
It was a suitcase.
Oh, god damn it.
So...
Did they ever find Bob's body?
I think they
Or
did.
she's still up there?
They talked about hauling off all the bodies, so...
Probably, yeah, they found them.
They must have searched the attic then, I guess.
Oh, in that case, how did the killer escape their view? Since I'm assuming
And
this
again-
implies that the killer is still a factor.
More importantly, what happened to the cat? I had to assume that the killer killed the poor fucker too.
Either that or the cat just fucked up because the neighbor was feeding them better.
So, does this mean we never find out who the killer is?
Well, the movie's not over yet.
Oh no, she's still there!
I know it's a painting.
No, more of a
Why would you
mirror.
paint that? That's perverse.
Oh, sorry, a window, sorry.
Oh, apparently the body is still in the attic, so...
Yeah.
The body's off the attic, so we never
Weird, so the
searched it there.
police never looked in the attic. Really? Okay.
And then the house blew up.
No, that's not
But
Amityville.
there is still apparently... Ring, ring.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how it ends, by the way.
Huh.
Yeah.
Like,
For those who didn't know, Billy is not supposed to be any of the character we're seeing. Just an original complete character played by Nick Mancuso.
So, yeah, Peter
I don't know if I like that.
So Peter wasn't the killer, I guess.
If I recall correctly, the 2006 remake will actually give up personal connection to the identity of the killer. So there is that.
Okay, okay. I don't know how to feel about this. On the one hand, it is an interesting idea, us never actually finding out who the killer is. Though, man, it kind of makes me feel a bit bad that means Peter, despite his eccentricities, was actually an innocent guy who got murdered by his girlfriend.
So, final thoughts? Well, that was a movie.
That was indeed a movie.
It's very weird. Like, I know you have to build up the mystery and that, but a lot of time it's just the characters seemingly just faffing around and having a good time with each other. Then the rest of it is the deaths, which, again, no slashing. I can't comment on the music score. This movie doesn't really have one. And it's weirdly, I just think it's weirdly paced. But I've seen Rocky, I've seen both Godfather movies. They're paced better than. It's really because sometimes it doesn't feel like much is happening. Like I said, because a lot of times it's just characters faffing around. Although it is interesting to see a couple of people who are more well known for being in other things, and see where they came from. And I'll be interested to see how the 2006 remake tackles this. This is what we'll be doing next. But yeah, that's it for me. It's just kind of.
I don't think it was bad in any particular way, although the pacing could use some work. The characters are okay, Bob being the best one, obviously. I don't hate that we don't know who the killer is, but I don't like it either. It's just kind of has been running on a straight line. And yeah, the ending just kind of fits. It's just everything was just sort of okay from beginning to end, and yeah, that's it. I don't really have much to say about this, honestly. It's okay.
It's okay. Shiroi 2023.
Alright, I'll go next. It's there. I do understand why it's the way it is, we're experimenting. It's even based on, an urban legend, believe it or not, as a source material. You probably have heard it already, considering, it's still very famous in type of scenario. It's just that when it came out, nobody really knew what to expect of that, and probably also because of what I'm about to say, that's probably the reason why it wasn't as successful as they thought it would be. The pacing, I think, is the thing that kills the movie, because while stuff is happening, a lot of stuff is, stretched too much, or there's not much to keep the audience engaged a lot, even when creating the tension. I like the fact that it has a moment of silence to build up, and doesn't rely too much on jump scares, but it's still relatively weak compared to a lot of, horror movies that came out. Again, you can tell that this was an influence to Halloween, because Halloween will do something similar to this, but much, much better, because John Carpenter is just that better, as a director. Still, I don't want to blame too much, the people, the cast and crew who worked on this. They just, did what they could. So there is that.
I'll go next, I guess.
Go on, Jova.
Yeah, that's certainly one of the earliest slasher films ever made, and boy, does it show. Now, okay, I can see why this movie may not have been the biggest hit at first, I can also see why it's garnered praise after, and I do think that its main reason for garnering praise is I definitely do see the influences that it did pave the way for in arguably better films of this genre. Again, most like Halloween. That being said, as with early installment weirdness, there does come the flaws that unfortunately come with the formula just not being refined yet. First off, the pacing. It does feel like the movie takes until, near the halfway point to actually get properly started. Yeah, we get a kill or two here, although sadly, the best character, McHenry, has to be the second kill, so gosh dang, we don't even have her to keep us as entertained as much. And that's not to say that the actors aren't doing well. No. Everyone's doing fine here. It's just that, well, surprisingly, it doesn't feel like there's much to it. And I'm not saying that, of course, slasher film has to have a lot to it, but, it's oh, there's an asshole calling girls on the phone who he then kills. And that's more or less it. Oh, don't get me wrong, it makes for good suspense and horror at times, but I'll admit, I feel like with how this movie was going, they needed to at least give us a more proper end. Because, okay, look, in a better horror film, I would probably be A-okay with them not revealing who the killer is. But here, it kind of does leave me feeling a bit empty and, shoot, a bit bad for Peter. Yeah, the guy was a dick, but at the end of the day, he didn't actually hurt anyone, it seems. It seemed like he was just trying to console Jess, and, well, she murdered him.
You can tell that they were trying to, emulate a bit what Alfred Hitchcock did in his movies, too.
Mm-hmm. And again, I can appreciate the effort. I'll give them credit. They did do a good job setting up Peter as the obvious bad guy until it turns out, nope, just a red herring. But I do feel like at the very least they could have shown us who the killer was in the end. I'll just say this. It's fine, but it's just fine. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't make that much money at the box office. Again, it's not like it was god-awful or terrible. And again, it had the burden of being one of the earliest films of its genre, so, the formula wasn't there yet. That being said, at the end of the day, it still is a very wonky film. I would really only recommend this if you're, a massive horror film buff and, want to see where, some of the classics got their idea or spark from. Otherwise, there are more entertaining horror, slasher, or heck, even horror Christmas films you could watch. It's not to say it's terrible, it's just there. Pedro.
Okay, that was whatever. I felt like this movie has all the necessary ingredients it needs to be a really cool slasher movie, but it lacks in interesting characters. I think I would say, like people said, the granny was by far the most fun, but yeah, when she's not around for long, so yeah, and mostly this is a movie that basically kind of goes through the motions in a lot of ways and doesn't seem to have much in terms of its own unique wit to it, I guess. Like Jova said, it's not terrible or anything, it's just nothing about it feels particularly noteworthy. You can basically do a lot better. Yeah, no, there's not really that much I can say. And like Jova said, yeah, the lack of a reveal for who it was feels like Jova said, maybe if the story and the characters were more interesting, it would be more forgivable. So that we basically have a non-ending. But yeah, it just makes the movie feel incomplete. So whatever. But yeah, it's whatever, really. It's not terrible, but it's not exactly great either. It's just kind of average at the end of the day. Mediocre.
So yeah, that's for the original. Black Christmas. Apologies, audience, if it wasn't the more, thrilling of the commentaries when we heard, but we work with what they have.
It's a piece of film history, is what it is.
Basically, it's
God bless it for it.
what I usually like to say about these things is it's a movie that's works more nowadays as a piece to be looked at in a museum rather than an actual movie to be watched.
It belongs in a museum.
It literally belongs in a museum. Yes.
Pretty much. Again, I appreciate it for what it would help later films do, even if it wasn't the best edit itself.
But we're not quite done just yet, so tune in tomorrow when this presents us the European cut of the 2006 movie. See ya.
See ya.